This is our time, and yeah, we gon' shine. You better put your blockers on before you get blind. Wildcats gon' win. Yeah, we all in.
Good morning. Welcome to a brand new edition of Sports Corner. I'm your host, Felix Reyes Jr., and with me, I have the good Andre Miller. On today's show, we're going to talk about a big three that's not in Miami, the NFL, some NFL movement, and also. But first, let's start with the madness, March Madness, that is. The NCAA March Madness tournament tipped off and did not disappoint, starting with the Dayton Flyers beating their in-state rival Ohio State on one day of the tournament, Mercer beating Duke on the second day of the tournament, Dayton also beating Syracuse the third day, and Stanford beating Kansas, as well as Kentucky beating the number one seeded Wichita State. Which upset did you find most surprising this past week?
Well, this past week, the most upsetting that I had was Harvard upsetting Cincinnati. That was on March 20th. And what we have here, we have an Ivy League school known for more than its brains than basketball, but it upset one of the traditional successful programs.
Right.
And this was the Crimson's, third straight trip to the big dance and second straight trip to the round of 32. So, and last year, they upset the New Mexico, a 3 seed. And by losing that game, I feel Cincinnati and my odds are the underdog despite their much higher and higher seed and tougher schedule this season.
Okay. I found Mercer over Duke to be the most surprising. 14 seed over a 3 seed, which was very big. They had to play their best game of the season. They played almost perfect. They held Jabari Parker and Rodney Hood to 6 of 25 combined from the field, 2 of 8 from three-point line, and combined for only 20 points in the game.
Yeah.
Rodney Hood even fouled out. So Duke as a team only shot 35.5%, but they made 15 threes, shot 40% from three. But as Charles Barkley always said, you don't live by the three, you die by it.
Yeah.
Mercer shot 55.5% from the field. And they shot 28 free throws, while Duke only shot 13. So they played great defense and got wide open shots. So I think that was the most surprising upset this past week. So
and what about the upset that everybody knows about?
Wichita State, number one
State.
seed, going down against Kentucky.
Yeah. About that being their first loss. How you feel about that?
That was a big loss, but Kentucky is a good team. Although they have a few freshmen,
history.
right? So I mean, it wasn't a big surprise because they are a bigger school from a bigger conference. They played tougher games this past season.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Even with Florida, by them being they was the number 2.
Right, and they took Florida in the SEC tournament down to the wire as well. So, but after Wichita State falling, which top seed do you think may be the next to be upset?
The next upset, I feel it'll be Tennessee and Michigan, and that's going to be a good game Friday. And the reason I picked that game because we all know Michigan they're ranked number 2, and we know Tennessee is ranked 11. And Tennessee they have the history of winning first 3 games of the NCAA tournament as they dominate opponents on the glass with rebounding. And against Mercer, Scrooge, they set a new Tennessee NCAA record, with 18 rebounds while also adding 17 points.
Right.
Meanwhile, you got Josh Richard, a career high 26 points, and Antonio, scoring 18. So I feel they have a chance of beating Michigan.
Okay, my upset that I've picked this week will be Virginia. I think Virginia, number 1 seed Virginia, is going to lose to Michigan State, number 4 seed. It's a matchup of the ACC champion versus the Big Ten champion. But I have Michigan State in my Final Four bracket, so I'm a little bit biased. I want to get that right.
Okay.
So, that put to the side, Michigan State is finally healthy with Brandon Dawson. Since he's come back, they're 23-3. Tom Izzo, Hall of Fame coach. I think he's going to have his team ready to play in transition. If they could get out in the break, as opposed to Virginia setting their defense, I think they have a good chance to win. Okay. So that wraps up that segment. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the NFL after this break.
Our fitness center has state-of-the-art equipment that all students have access to. The hours are from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Our facility allows students to challenge themselves physically and mentally. For the physical part of it, we have treadmills, free weights, yoga mats, and many other machines that target upper and lower body strength. We have trainers that come in Wednesday between the hours of 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for help, assistance, and motivation on each station available. The equipment that our facility holds is compatible with any other institution. That is the inspirational energy that dares you to go the extra mile, commit to that extra goal, and aim for those aspirations. You can throw in the towel or you can use it to wipe the sweat off your face.
Is there another commercial after this?
Adrian, is another commercial after this, right?
No.
This is our time, and yeah, we gon' shine. You better put your blockers on before you get.
Okay, welcome back to Sports Corner. You know, if you're just joining us, welcome. And last we talked about, March Madness and upsets that we have. So now we're going to go into the NFL with the trade that they had with Michael Vick and how and the release of Sanchez and how this would impact Geno Smith coming on. So what do you have on that intake on?
I just think it's more distractions for New York. They were looking for the headlines. It's the first controversy already is who's going to start.
Yeah,
are you going to start Geno Smith, the young guy, the future of your organization, or are you going to bring in Michael Vick and have him start and have Geno learn from a veteran like they used to do back in the '90s and back in the day? So I think Geno is going to start, but my whole thing is how short of a leash does he have? Because if he starts the season and comes out and they're 2-2, 1-3, 0-4, the New York fans, they don't like that.
Yeah,
they will start calling.
Vic.
Exactly, they will start calling for Vic. What do you think about the pickup?
What I have on that is, they cut Mark Sanchez to sign Vic. Both Vic and Sanchez, they had struggle in the recent years, but also, they enjoyed success earlier in their career. But possible, I feel that Vic has a better chance of getting a fair shot at the job than Sanchez did last year, while Geno started over him. He is familiar with the offensive coordinator, Marty's system for 4 years together in Philadelphia. So for a 1-year deal, I do believe Michael Vick will. I don't believe he would sit the bench or he would, call plays. But I feel that during that 1 year, they're gonna also. I feel that they're gonna play both. But I feel Michael Vick has a chance, to show that, have Geno as a, watch how he conduct the cells on the field, and that will also help Geno. So after the 1 year, if they want to release Vic, they'll have Geno. He had the experience. He done watched Michael Vick, even if it's with Michael Vick, struggling. Also, but I feel that both of them will get a fair shot in the deal. Yeah,
aside from the quarterback, I mean, they also got to get them some weapons. I mean, they really have no receivers. They picked up Eric Decker, but he's not really a number one receiver. He's more of a complement receiver to somebody else. So speaking of picking up other players and stuff, what do you think the Raiders are going to do since they picked up Matt Schaub for their quarterback position? They have the 5th pick in the draft. Do you think they're still going to go quarterback, or they have a little bit of flexibility now?
Well, I feel the Raiders, they may go for the quarterback, but I feel they should go into the defensive line. Someone who can, go and pressure the quarterback, another quarterback. Even though they have quarterback, I know that Sanchez, not Sanchez, but you never know what may happen to this quarterback during the season. A lot of quarterbacks, go down. They will always also want to have a backup. So
I wouldn't say that they should go defense. I mean, they picked up Lamar Woodley. They re-signed Charles Woodson. They picked up Justin Tuck. So they brought in some veteran players that have won some things.
They get a strong runner also. They'll be also good on offense.
I think that they should go wide receiver.
Wide receiver, yeah.
Sammy Watkins. He's #1 receiver, top prospect in the draft. But
he gonna need somebody to throw to, so Sanchez.
And you see how well Matt Schaub did when he had Andre Johnson on one side. So I mean, he's used to having weapons.
Yeah, he's okay.
So he's used to having weapons and stuff. So that wraps up that segment. When we come back, we have some NBA talk.
management has treated me fairly. I'm in the band auxiliary 14 karat gold dancer, so it's been pretty fun. The away trips, I try to get my work done, so that way I'm not just procrastinating or getting behind. I get frustrated all the time, but I try to think about my scholarship. That's a big deal. From high school to college, it's different because in high school, you have to wake up every morning. Your parents take you to school. They're dependent on you to go to class. But in college, you're on your own. You have to wake up and be to class on time, and you only have so many absences before you get dropped. And you're paying for college, so why waste your parents' money? Stay focused, be determined, and have time management.
This is our time, and yeah, we gon' shine. You better put your blockers on before you get.
Welcome back to Sports Corner. If you just joined us, welcome again. But last that we just talked about was in the NFL, you know, the signing of Michael Vick and how that will, you know, contribute with Geno. So now that we're going into the NBA and with, you know, the San Antonio Spurs and how they will conduct themselves to the end of the season, and how I feel is it going to be championship or bust?
Well, the Spurs are looking up to wrap up home court throughout the playoffs and finish the season with the best regular season record. They're currently on the 14-game winning streak, but I actually do think that it is championship or bust. Father Time is catching up with their big three, Duncan, Parker, Ginobili. They can rest as much as they want during the regular season. It doesn't matter. When you get to the postseason, you have to win 4 out of 7 every time. So this is even the reason why Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili even came back. I mean, we have the video. Remember Game 6 of the finals versus Miami. Ray Allen hit that corner 3, sent it into overtime, and they pretty much took the air out of that series and went on to win the championship in Game 7. So, I mean, it is championship or bust. We're tired of seeing them win all these regular season games and then come up just short every season. I mean, it's like we've seen this story before. So what do you think?
Yeah, I do believe it's championship or bust, but, you know, we all know the Spurs, they're the championship team, but they have fallen short since 2007 when they took the ring. And I feel that, you know, Tim Duncan is an older player, and he's still dominant in the paint, and he's a good, you know, defender. But we all know that, you know, they have other teams that's better. I won't say better, but have a better chance, because you have to play, you know, got to win 4 games.
Right.
And I feel that they have a chance at going to late rounds, but they're not going to. I don't believe they'll finish off.
Okay, so going from the older teams to the younger guys coming in, how do you feel about the NBA possibly changing the minimum required time for a player from 1 year to 2 years in college?
Well, for 1 year to 2 years, I feel that they should have been did that, because in the NFL you have to do 3. Well, not the NFL, but college you have to do 3 years. So, and by NBA, they having players that come straight out of high school. Not saying that it was a bad deal, because, you know, Kobe Bryant, you know, he came, you know, LeBron James. So we do know that there's nothing wrong with it. But I also feel it should be fair between the two, with NFL having 3 years. So most likely it may go up to 3 years, you know, later on, or maybe they'll cut down the NFL to 2 years. But that is a good. So how do you feel about it?
I'm in favor of it. I mean, like
they
you said,
need experience in college.
Right. For every Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, there's about 10 to 15 guys that are not ready, that are not as good as them, won't be as good as them. Their family isn't always right. You always got your mom, brother, sister, uncle saying, "Hey, you're gonna be the #1 pick. You're gonna ball out. You're gonna do all this stuff." But you won't always make it. I mean, it forces them to think about getting a college degree.
Yeah, in case anything happens.
Exactly. Better players get drafted. You're in there for another year. You get to hone your skills more. You get to work on your craft, your fundamentals, and it makes the NCAA even better. We talking about March Madness right now, so imagine all these freshmen, Jabari Parker, Julius Randle, Andrew Wiggins, who are not playing. That might affect them to come back and play even better, and they might play even longer. So, I mean, would you have anything else to add to that?
Well, yeah, I feel that, you know, that is because I feel all players should have the experience, you know, in the NCAA before they get the not NFL, but NBA.
The NBA.
So I feel that is a good topic right there.
Okay, so this wraps up our show's concluding. Thank you for watching Sports Corner. See you same time next week.
This is our time, and yeah, we gon' shine. You better put your blockers on before you get